Running SQL Server databases requires balancing performance needs with infrastructure and licensing costs, particularly for throughput-intensive workloads. RDS for SQL Server now supports M8A and R8A instances powered by 5th-generation AMD EP processors to address these challenges. You can deploy these instances to achieve up to 70% higher throughput compared to similar x86 instances for commonly used sizes. Each vCPU maps to a physical core for consistent per-core performance. For I/O-intensive workloads, you can access up to 75 gigabits per second network bandwidth and 60 gigabits per second EBS bandwidth. You can optimize the fCPU count on these instances using the RDS Optimize CPU feature, allowing you to adjust enabled vCPUs and reduce Microsoft SQL Server licensing charges based on fCPU count. These instances run on the AWS Nitro system with 6th-generation Nitro cards and are available in all commercial AWS regions where EC2 offers them, purchasable through on-demand pricing or database savings plans. As AI agents become more capable and services shift to pay-per-use models, you need infrastructure that lets agents transact without building custom billing integrations, credential management, orchestration logic, budgeting, and observability. AgentCore Payments solves this by letting you connect a Coinbase CDP wallet or Stripe Privy wallet as a payment connection and set session-level spending limits so your agent can transact autonomously during execution. When your agent encounters a paid resource with an HTTP 402 response, AgentCore handles the X402 protocol negotiation, wallet authentication, stablecoin payment, and proof delivery without interrupting the agent's reasoning loop. Spending limits are enforced at the infrastructure layer, and every transaction is observable through the same logs, metrics, and traces you already use in AgentCore. You can also access the Coinbase X402 Bazaar MCP server through AgentCore Gateway, which provides over 10,000 X402 endpoints that your agents can search, discover, and pay for autonomously. The feature is available in preview in US East, North Virginia, US West, Oregon, Europe, Frankfurt, and Asia Pacific, Sydney. When you run OpenSearch service domains, you need to connect to resources in your VPC such as ML models, AWS services, and custom applications while maintaining network security and avoiding exposure to the public internet. VPC Egress solves this problem by enabling private network connections. You can enable private connectivity to VPC resources by activating the VPC Egress option for your domain. OpenSearch service routes outbound traffic through your VPC subnets by adding network interfaces to your selected subnets. You configure via console, CLI, or API operations using the Create Domain and Update Domain config APIs or the OpenSearch Service Console. This allows you to access ML models and services without internet exposure, keeping your traffic private within your VPC perimeter. VPC Egress is available in all AWS regions where OpenSearch service operates. Managing user access across different authentication methods in collaborative environments can be complex when teams use both IAM and Identity Center identities. SageMaker Unified Studio now addresses this by providing unified identity management features. You can configure IAM Identity Center for single sign-on in IAM domains, allowing you to add IAM roles, IAM users, Identity Center users, and groups as project members. In Identity Center domains, you can federate through IAM roles while maintaining unique user sessions to prevent work conflicts. The Consolidated Domain User Management page lets you view all active users and manage their permissions from a single screen. These capabilities enable teams to collaborate regardless of their authentication method, while administrators maintain audit trails and access control across both domain types. Database encryption at rest and TLS in transit decrypt data within the database engine, leaving it vulnerable to compromised credentials, overprivileged administrators, or SQL injection attacks. This exposure creates compliance risk under PCI DSS, HIPAA, and GDPR. The KMS encryption plugin addresses this by encrypting sensitive data at the JDBC driver level before it reaches the database. When you write to an encrypted column, the plugin encrypts the value client-side. When reading, it decrypts the value before returning it to your application. Plain text remains visible only to your application while the database stores encrypted values. The database can verify data integrity through HMAC validation without accessing the encryption key. The plugin integrates with your existing SQL, Spring, Hibernate, and connection pool setup without requiring code changes. It works with Amazon RDS and Amazon Aurora PostgreSQL and MySQL compatible databases and is available as an open-source project under the Apache 2.0 license. When running network-intensive or storage-intensive workloads, you need instances that can handle high-throughput demands without performance bottlenecks. Amazon EC2 M880 and M880D instances address these requirements with custom 6th-generation Intel Xeon scalable processors and 6th-generation AWS Nitro cards. You can get 43% better compute performance per vCPU compared to M6 IDN instances, enabling faster processing for your workloads. With M8 IDN instances, you can access up to 600 gigabits per second network bandwidth, the highest among enhanced networking EC2 instances, making them suitable for distributed compute, data analytics, and high-performance file systems. With M8ED instances, you can achieve up to 300 gigabits per second EBS bandwidth, the highest among non-accelerated compute instances, optimizing performance for large databases, data lakes, and NoSQL databases. You can run these instances via savings plans, on-demand, or spot purchasing options in US East, North Virginia, US West, Oregon, and Europe, Spain. Setting up SageMaker HyperPod Slurm clusters previously required you to manage lifecycle configuration scripts stored in S3, which added operational steps and increased provisioning time. You can now use AMI-based configuration to provision cluster nodes with pre-installed software like Docker, Enroute, and Pixis, along with configurations for Slurm accounting, SSH keys, log rotation, and home directories. You provision Slurm clusters without lifecycle scripts by omitting the lifecycle config block in the Create Cluster API or selecting None in the console. You add extension scripts for custom requirements like observability or ALDAP integration using the on-init complete parameter. You reduce cluster creation time by eliminating script execution during provisioning, enabling you to start training workloads faster while maintaining the option to use custom lifecycle scripts for advanced use cases. When personalizing video ad insertion, you typically need middleware between players and ad decision servers to handle identity resolution, append metadata, or integrate bidding systems. This creates infrastructure overhead and complexity. MediaTailor monetization functions eliminate this middleware requirement. You can customize how MediaTailor builds ad decision server requests and manages session data at defined points during playback sessions. You can call external APIs to resolve hashed emails into privacy-compliant identity envelopes through providers like LiveRamp, append contextual metadata from content management systems through providers like Gracenote, activate header bidding workflows through the Trade Desk, and run A/B tests across multiple ad decision servers. The functions operate with fail-open design. If a function errors, times out, or hits resource limits, MediaTailor discards the output and continues with default ad insertion behavior, ensuring uninterrupted playback. You are billed per lifecycle hook invocation at a flat rate regardless of function number, type, or complexity. When running outbound campaigns, you need to ensure compliance by contacting customers only during acceptable hours in their local time zones. Previously, Amazon Connect outbound campaigns detected time zones using only the primary phone number on a customer profile, which could result in incorrect time zone detection when customers had contact information spanning multiple zones. Now you can detect customer time zones using all phone numbers and addresses on a profile. The system examines every phone number and address to identify all relevant time zones for each customer. When a profile spans multiple time zones, the system calculates the intersection of your configured delivery window across all detected zones and delivers only during hours that comply with every zone. If no overlapping window exists, the system skips that profile to maintain compliance. For example, If a customer has an Eastern mobile number and a Pacific business number, and your campaign window is 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., delivery occurs only between 12 p.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time, ensuring both zones fall within the allowed window. This capability is available at no additional cost in all regions where Amazon Connect outbound campaigns is offered.